Hi friends, today we're going to talk about the artist Wayne Thiebaud. Wayne Thiebaud was known as a pop artist. Pop is short for popular. He chose things that were popular in his daily life and created them. Here you will see one of his still lifes of ice cream cones. In order to create this still life, he used oil paints. Today we are going to be inspired by Wayne Thiebaud and create our very own ice cream cone still life, but instead use oil pastels. In order to begin, I am going to be using a white piece of paper so you friends can see my lines. But you will each have a blue piece of paper so it helps create a beautiful, bright, contrasting background. Notice right here, it is still blue. So I'm going to take my piece of paper, and the first thing we need to do as artists in our classroom is write our name in one of the four corners. So I'm going to choose this top corner right here and write my name so everyone can see it. Then I have another step for this classroom. You want to take the colored pencil that is in your pencil and scissor bin, and I want you to circle it. I'm going to pretend I'm at the gray table today and circling. Then we're going to flip our piece of paper over so our names are on the back. Our pieces of paper are going horizontally, which means they're shorter, and then wider. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the board in which the ice cream cones are going to sit on. Okay. So in order to begin, I am going to start not in the middle, but a little bit more down, and I'm going to draw a line going all the way across my page. Now it is okay if that line is bumpy because wood sometimes can be bumpy. So it will make it look more natural. I'm going to scoot this drawing right here in the corner so you friends can see that too, and it can be a reference for me as well. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the other side of the board. So we just drew one of these lines right here, and we're going to draw the second one below or above. I'm going to do it right below. Going across, like so. Okay, here comes the somewhat tricky part, but I believe you friends can do it. See here how the ice cream cones sit inside the board. We need to create that illusion by using curved and straight lines. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw those curved lines where the ice cream cone, whoopsies, enters the board. So I'm going to begin. We're going to have 3 ice cream cones spread out. I'm going to do a curved line a little bit above the board, another curved line, and finally one more curved line. From there, we're going to draw the tops of the cones poking out. You'll notice how the lines go out. So I'm going to draw my line. It's going to go slightly out, slightly out, slightly out. I'm going to move this up, slightly out, same, and same. So from there, we can start building our ice cream, but first we want to finish our cones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some pretend drawing. I'm going to pretend to keep drawing this line going in, but I'm not going to draw it on the board. Instead, I'm going to wait until the edge of the board and then draw that line. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And just like that until they connect. I'm going to do the same thing to both of these. Line, pretend to draw, line, line, pretend to draw, line, line, pretend, line, pretend, just like so. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to quickly sketch our ice cream cones, but we don't want to add a lot of details. So if you're a friend who wants to add sprinkles or chocolate chips, that's not something we're going to do in the drawing process. That's something we'll do in the coloring process when we use those oil pastels. So what I'm going to do is when I scoop, it's going to have a curved edge, and then it'll come up into an almost balloon-like shape. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna do my ice cream cone right there. It's gonna go up. And if it's just one scoop, I'm gonna curve it all the way around. But if it's two, I'm gonna leave it open and then put another one on top. So that overlaps it. I'm gonna do a 2 scoop right here. Notice how my 2 scoop, it's kind of tilting over a little bit. I like that. It makes it look more realistic because ice cream cones start to melt, right? Okay, I'm going to do this one next. I want to use varieties, so I don't want all of them to be 2 scoops, even though I love some ice cream. So I'm just going to do 1 scoop. And for this 1 scoop, I'm going to put a cherry on top. So I'm going to draw a circle, just like that. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to do 1 more. I'm going to see how many I can squeeze onto this one. So I'm doing 1, 2. Ooh, I might be able to squeeze a 3rd one in. You don't want to overcrowd your art piece, so think about how many ice cream scoops will look good on your art piece and in your composition. Okay, I think that looks good. The next step, friends, we need to finish the board. So you see there's no other side of the board, but in this image, there is another side that goes behind the ice cream cones. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to draw an imaginary line, or I'm going to draw a line, it's not imaginary yet, and then it's going to be imaginary behind the ice cream cone, and then come out on the other side. Same right here, imaginary. Try to keep your pencil still, just like that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start creating our ice cream cones. In the last art class, we practiced tinting and shading using crayons and this worksheet right here. Today we're going to do the same, but when we use oil pastels, they'll be easier to blend and creamier. I'm going to start with white. Because white is the lightest color, it is the one I always want to start with. My white is dirty, so I'm going to get a tissue or a paper towel and quickly wipe it off so it doesn't dirty my paper. I'm going to choose my first ice cream cone that I want to work on. We're just going to do the ice cream first. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to take my white oil pastel, and I've decided that my pretend sun is coming from this side of my art piece. So that means all the ice cream cones are going to be lighter on this side. So right here, here, and here. So I'm going to color my ice cream cone halfway white, just like we did when we practiced. Then I'm going to go in, friends, and I'm going to choose the flavor of my ice cream. So I'm going to take pink, and I'm going to blend that pink so it goes into the white and on the side. And you'll see when the pink goes into the white, it already starts to lighten it. Now, when we blend, we want to go halfway into the white. So think about, this is half white. Halfway into the white would be right about here where I stopped. And then from there, we actually want to push the oil pastels with our fingers and try to blend it so it looks more natural. And I'm going to blend it through here and through here. You friends will get dirty hands at the end of this lesson. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move on. We're just doing the color of our ice cream cones. I'm going to do another one over here. I'm going to add white once again. And this one today is going to be chocolate. So I'm going to take a brown. I'm going to take my brown. Now, it's important to check your fingers before you blend because I just blended pink and I don't want that pink to go into my brown, right? So I might need a tissue or paper towel to wipe that off. So I'm going to start blending. I'm going to put a little bit more brown on over the white. And I'm gonna blend that in. Now, you'll see in Wayne Thiebaud's artwork, some of his ice cream cones are lighter, and then sometimes they're darker. So lightening, adding white, means you tint. Darkening means you add black. So darkening is shading. So sometimes I might want to only tint my ice cream cones, and sometimes I might want to add a little bit of darkness in there. So I'm gonna just put some black right around the edge, okay? I also notice my ice cream cone, I don't like how white it is, so I'm actually gonna bring that brown over even more and keep blending it, like so. In my example right here, you don't see that much pure white. You see a little bit of white here, but most of it I kind of covered up. Still see how there's tints and shades, how it's darker here and then lighter on this side, okay? Another strategy to darkening and lightening is using a color that's darker. So going back to this strawberry or cherry ice cream, whichever you choose, I'm gonna take a red, and that's gonna be my way of darkening that red or that pink. So I'm just gonna take that red, and that's gonna be the way to shade it. Just like my example, I'm actually gonna pull the pink over a little bit more so there's not as much white, and then blend with my fingertips, just like so. There, I like what I see. You guys are going to pause this video and you are going to all tint and shade, or just tint or just shade all of your ice cream cones. I saw a few friends last art class want to do multicolor swirl ice cream cones. So by doing that, I have a tip. If I want to do a multicolored ice cream cone, say I want to do like a blue and pink swirled ice cream cone, I'm going to first, again, do white right here. Then I'm going to go in, I have a light blue, and I have my pink, and I'm going to kind of multicolor swirl those. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to swirl on this side. Do you see how I'm on the side that doesn't have the white? Swirling that in. Now pink and blue, they are close to each other on the color wheel. Pink is red, which is mixed with white. So how you make pink, you take red and white, and then they're kind of close. So when they blend together, kind of make this pretty purplish color. So I know that will work well. So then I tinted that, and now I need to shade it. So I'm actually going to go into my white, and you'll see how it gets lighter. I also want to probably lighten up my pressure too, and make sure I blend in. So I'm going to go very light with the blue, just a tiny bit of blue in there, and blend. I'm going to have a little bit more. Over the white, blend, and a little bit more, and blend, just like that. And then on the opposite side, I can add a little bit of tinting. Oop, that's brown. By taking my black oil pastel and gently blending that in, just so it's soft and a little bit darker, like so. I love that swirl idea. Okay. Once I'm done with all of the ice cream, I'm going to work on the cones. For the cones, you also have to tint and shade them. So I have different browns and peaches that I'm going to use, and then I'll have white and a darker brown right here. So I have a huge variety. You friends want to find a huge variety as well. And on this side of my cone, same with the ice cream, it's going to be white. And then I'm actually going to go in with this peach-like color. And you can find those peach colors in with the pinks and the purples, those oil pastels. And then I'll add this kind of lighter orangey-ish brown, and maybe a little bit of brown in there too. And I'm going to blend that brown over like so. Once I'm doing the color, once I'm done doing all of the color and shading of that cone, Then I can add those ice cream cone lines. So I'm gonna draw some lines going up, up, and then I'm gonna have some going down. So that shows that waffle cone, just like that, okay? You friends can pause the video and finish all of your ice cream cones. Remember, you need to tint and you need to shade. Once you're done with all of your ice cream cones, friends, we're gonna do the board. Now, looking at Wayne Thiebaud's image, you'll notice that the board is pretty light. You can do a brown board or you can do a different color, but there are shadows right by the ice cream cones. The ice cream cones created shadows on the board. So I want to do that as well. So I'm going to simply take this color right here. Again, it's like a brownish, orangish color. And I'm just going to do a simple coating on my entire board. I'm not going to worry about any shadows yet. I'm going to color this. Then I'm going to take my white. I'm going to blend some white on the front sides of the board. And notice how when you blend that white over a color, it kind of helps that color cream together. And then I can add that color on top too to cream it even more. The surface I'm working on right now is kind of textured, so I don't know if you guys are hearing the bumping as I go over. Hopefully your tables aren't as bumpy as mine. Okay, from there I'm going to take a dark brown and then I'm going to choose the side the shadow's on. So if the ice cream is white on this side, that means the shadow would be on this side. So I'm just going to scribble a little bit of brown on every side of my ice cream cone. For the last step, we're going to clean up the whole thing and do the background. You'll notice here some of my oil pastels got on the background. That's really common. So what I like to do is just a quick layer of color. In my example right here, you might not be able to tell, but I actually took a lighter blue, such as this one, and I colored the whole background with that color to clean it up. You friends can choose whatever color you want to. Maybe experiment on the back and see what colors look good overlapped. For example, purple overlapping on the blue could look really pretty. I hope you friends enjoyed making all of your ice cream cones, and I cannot wait to see all the creativity you put into them.